Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. Nice, bright and early start for me. Didn't sleep great, was up early. I've got my car in garage at 9 a.m, so I thought I would jump on now. Hope you're all doing well. Smash me a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Get your comments in. And, of course, hit that notification bell. We're here to talk Leeds United. And my fears yesterday from Graham Smith's article have been confirmed. How have they been confirmed? In the Athletic article that's gone out this morning, which we will share with you, we are being gaslit into believing that there are no other wingers out there. As I expected, would be the narrative. I spoke to a few people about this yesterday, actually, and was saying, surely they're not going to spin that yarn. But we'll get into it. It's going along the bottom here. We'll have a read through the whole article. It's basically a deep dive into the Paixao deal again, and what went well, what went wrong. Key takeaway for me, as I mentioned from Graham Smith's article yesterday, where I was like, oh, I'm not sure. Well, this is a line from the club, right? Because it says in the article. So, the club's hierarchy knows this is not what supporters will want to read, but this is the state of play. Of the wingers who are better than Dan James, Gnonto, Harrison and Ramazani, United's key decision makers do not think there are many available to them. That's lies. I can send you to my man's video now and we can get 4 or 5. We'll do a scouting report and we'll get 6. Look, the Harrison line as well, which is not going to go down well, is it? It's not going to go down well. But it's also the way that this one's framed. Graham's, I felt, was open to interpretation. My interpretation was, I hope that's not the line they're going to go with. And then this is actually, it says, the club's hierarchy knows this is not what supporters will want to read, but this is the state of play. Of the wingers who are better than Dan James, Gnonto, Harrison and Ramazani, United's key decision makers do not think there are many available to them. That's bullshit, though. And exactly, which I don't mind, by the way. I'm not rewriting history, but my point is a lot of the fan base will go, what? And rightly so, for some. But you can't tell me that Paixao is the only winger that is of sufficient quality. He's levels above them. We don't need levels above, but we can get a level above. Do you know what I mean? Same line they use with Aronson, maybe. I think it's a case of like, well, come on, we're not stupid. I could give you, and listen, I don't know players all over the world, but I can give you wingers that are better than them 4. And let's talk about them 4 then, right? Who does the manager 100% trust out of all of that 4? I would say Dan James. Gnonto? No, not really. Not really. Ramazani? Definitely not. Jack Harrison? Well, if we look at his numbers in the Premier League over the last 2 seasons, it doesn't make for great reading. I don't mind Jack. Let me just qualify that statement. But I understand people that don't. His numbers are not great. So, really, the manager only 100% trusts Dan James, if we're being honest. We're not asking for the world, but we can. Yeah, but Lou, I hear this logic, bro. I hear this logic, but that doesn't mean if you can't get, those players that are up on high, that you can't improve on what you've already got. because I think we can. I think we can. The article does go on to say, for further context, there are some, like Paixao, and irons remain in the fire with them, but Leeds do not expect it will be easy to find as perfect a target as the Feyenoord 25-year-old. That's fine. That's fine. They liked his ability to create chances, his age, his experience, his resale potential, his finishing, set pieces. They also had to wait months for his wage demands to fall into their range because he was someone United considered beyond them as the close season approached. Manager Farke will certainly not say no to different players, as United's hierarchy called Paixao and others. They could be the difference between staying up and going down. Now we just talk on not on Paixao, on Muniz. So it says striker Muniz could be one such player. It has been known for a long time he is the club's key target at the tip of the attack. But as August arrives, urgency is increasing. Leeds know they can only be so patient with a strong start to the league campaign, a necessity to retain last season's momentum. There will be alternatives to Muniz on United's radar, but the decision they make on how long to wait for Fulham's forward before chasing someone else may be one of the biggest they make in August. Senior Leeds sources know that the window is shrinking, and with the Paixao deal dead in the water, there is a sense the striker chase is where energy will now focus. So we're moving on from the wingers. Schmidt's loan exit, as he himself knows from late August, is a deal Leeds know they can do late in the window if necessary. Another fullback has to be added before the Swiss is allowed to go. As for further attacking reinforcements, there are bound to be Premier League loan options that could appeal as August rolls on, among more expensive permanent targets. So again, are we waiting for loans there? So a fullback has been added. Hopefully that's James Justin. As for further attacking reformants, there are bound to be Premier League loan options that could appeal as August rolls on. But again, as August rolls on, we're then entering into the season. Among more expensive permanent targets, which you'd imagine would be someone like a Rodrigo Muniz. Paixao proved to be the first, at least, public blow of the summer. I would say maybe Siddiqui and Diarra fall into that as well. Understand what they're saying, bit like Raf. If someone, I hear you leads that, James, I think. But the line of we don't think this target's out there, it's going along the bottom. They know we won't like to hear this, but the current state of play is, of the wingers who are better than James, Gnonto, Harrison and Ramazani, United's key decision makers do not think that there are many available to them. I disagree with that statement. We're not asking for Paixaos all the time. We're not asking for Rafinha's all the time. But if we're saying them four wingers are good enough, then I would like to dissect each winger and go, right, if you're the manager, who does he 100% trust? Dan James? I think it's safe to say trust Dan James. But again, as a fan base, this question marks over his ability in the Premier League. So let's wait and see. I think he will be all right. Next up, Gnonto. Well, he was second choice. And also, I didn't have a great season in the champ. Ramazani's definitely not high up his trust. And then Jack Harrison's had 2 poor seasons. And again, I'm not rewriting history. I don't mind Jack staying. But not at the behest of another winger. No way. So we're not asking for Paixaos, but you can go get wingers that improve on what we've got. I understand waiting for a Rafinha and all that sort of stuff. And if they pull something off like that, it's amazing. But, Graham Smith made a good point in his article yesterday about Leeds United constantly waiting on a midfielder, and then we went, for sure. It ruined us. No, but little Chesney, my point would be is, that's not true. It's not true. You can go get wingers. You can go get wingers. I disagree with the statement, but I reckon they also have to manage the fact clubs will try and get as much money out of it as possible. So do you think they're controlling the narrative by saying, we don't think there's any of it? But how does that change? I don't know. By saying this, what does that do for selling clubs? Are they even reading The Athletic? Do you know what I mean, though? But look, each to their own. I'm still relaxed. I'm still calm. Someone sent me a post. Someone said on Facebook, Joe's losing his head. Da 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 da. I was like, my video yesterday, losing my head. It's always the case. It is what it is. But Joe, I don't think we need a winger. So that means you're happy to go in with a 4, and that's fine. That's fine. But my response to that would be 2 of the wingers weren't deemed good enough by the manager to play in the champ, and 1, the fan base can't stand and think he's worse than shit. So who's starting on the left? Now, obviously, you would say, well, Ramazani and Gnonto, but I'm just trying to say, well, if that's the case, why would the manager suddenly have a change in thought process and say, yeah, Ramazani's now my man? You know? Go watch Lockie's video. But they had 7 wingers on a list. I have not read that. Joe's authentic, but it's not often he leaves. It just tells. Yeah, I do. This did frustrate me. Someone sent it me on Twitter, and I was like, really? But when I saw the article Graham did, and again, it was more open to interpretation, I went, oh, I don't like how that reads. And then Berens sort of like confirmed the company, like where they've said, we know fans won't like to hear this, but, you know? Yeah. I don't mind Harrison Bob. I don't. Honestly, I don't. Yeah, I've got my car at the garage, man. Got the car at my garage. Yeah, listen, I'd love Grealish, and City would have to stump up a lot of his wage, to be honest. Which they probably will be willing to do. James Justin, yeah, I would like James Justin. Yeah. So anyone who watched highlight reels of the 25-year-old Paixao would have been unable to fight the Rafinha comparisons. Excitement was inevitable as Leeds made progress with the deal. And I do just want to say, based on what we're reading, Leeds tried everything. Parag, Adam Underwood, Alex Davis, even Lucas Perry getting on the phone to him. I'm not criticising them anyway. I think they were right to wait, all that sort of stuff. I'm not criticising them for that. What I will criticise, though, if we get read the line that there was no one else out there, because I'm sick of hearing that, because it's bullshit. I'm sorry, it is bullshit. You know, it is bullshit. It's bullshit, you know. So Chairman Parag Marate, Robbie Evans, Sporting Director Adam Underwood, and Head of Recruitment Alex Davis had assumed he would be beyond Leeds in the early stages of the window. However, in the past fortnight, they found his wage demands began to drop, and Marseille were evidently failing to get the deal done quickly. Leeds' sources say the club had received emails from Feyenoord and Paixao's reps suggesting respective terms had been agreed. The former landed with United shortly before half-time in the win over Paderborn. Even at that stage, with all 3 parties seemingly in agreement, Underwood was understood to never feel comfortable about it being a done deal. My man's been on holiday by all accounts as well. There was a niggling feeling Marseille's European offering was always what Paixao and his family wanted, which is what people told me, and I said, well, no. On Sunday, Marat, Evans and Underwood all held long calls with the player. Farke spoke to Paixao. Those calls from the manager are normally a sign of how advanced negotiations have become. Even Perry, United's new Brazilian, of barely a 48 hours standing, was on the phone to try and convince him. But Monday, things had gone quiet at the players' end, and Leeds began to read the writing on the wall. He went to Marseille. Leeds cannot afford for next May's reflections to be focused on the star player they needed, but didn't get this summer. There's 1 month to go, but only 18 days until 3 points are on the line against Everton. Just 3 points. Everton again lost, by the way. Tarkowski back on the bench. Everton lost in pre-season. They're not looking great at the minute. Admittedly, it's only pre-season. What we don't want is this to happen again with Muniz. We saw the links to Newcastle. How credible they are, I'm not too sure, but we'll wait and see. More will come out, I'm sure. So we'll see what happens there. But what we can't do is get embroiled in another situation, because then what we're going to hear from the club? Well, you know, we didn't think we could improve on the strikers, so therefore we're going to go in the season with Pirro, Mecha, and Sir Joseph staying. You know? Yeah. Does also say in the article, a fullback remains a possibility, especially if Swift defender Isaac Schmidt is keen to leave for minutes. He's going to go, so we will get a fullback in. A striker is a priority. While, again, I don't like that. While wingers and attacking midfielders are also on the agenda if the club's preferred options become available. The natural assumption, no doubt being made by much of the football world, is Leeds will now look to offer another 30 million plus player for an alternative to target out wide. Sources at Ellen Road, speaking anonymously to protect relationships, have indicated it may not be as straightforward as that. So again, just for context, we as fans naturally go, right, well, they've got 30 million now, so we know they're going to pay someone. Sources at Ellen Road, speaking anonymously to protect relationships, have indicated it may not be as straightforward as that. We were told 30 million every position at one point. The Athletic has been briefed on what went with Paixao this week, what's next in the transfer window for the club, and what this knockback means. And then, again, I just don't like this, if I'm honest. Because that follows on from, it may not be as straightforward as that. Well, why not? And then this line here. The club's hierarchy knows this is not what supporters will want to read, but this is the state of play. This is the state of play. There are many available to them. Now, of course, we don't know who them players are. Maybe they're shooting for the stars. And if they pull one of them off, we can say, do you know what? That's amazing. Look, we managed to land Solomon. He was arguably the best winger in the division and got us up. So they did well there. They haven't let us down in a summer window yet. I still remain hopeful. But if some of these players are not available to you because their wage demands are over 100k, or their transfer fees 40, 50 million, okay. Find someone else. Find someone else. My concern is, are they doing this with Muniz? Is it a case of Leeds putting a bid of 26, Fulham say we want 40, are Leeds going to wait for it to get somewhere close to 30, 35? I don't know. Well, what if it doesn't come down? What if Fulham don't get a new striker? What if Newcastle enter the race? I would also argue as well, just a striker's probably not enough. Like, please tell me. Right, so I'm going to do a poll. Are you confident with the 4 wingers we have going into the Premier League season? Right? Just to get an idea. Yeah. And to be honest, it sounds to me that I felt this would be the case anyway, folks, but I think Jack Harrison stays. I do think Jack Harrison stays. I'd be interested to get people's take though on if people think the 4 wingers is enough or are happy with it. Why you awake? What I missed? Didn't sleep great, mate. Was up early. I've got my car in garage at 9, and it's in limp mode, innit? So I've got to go and take it. It's misfiring. So we'll see what they say. I have to get back on bus and that, won't I? Yeah. See what some of the chat is saying. Come on, Joe. This will just be some bullshit to get the news out. No, it's come from the club. It's come from the club. The Athletic and YEP, they're not after clicking bullshit. And the reason that is because they don't want to mess up a relationship with the club. This isn't some, football insider transfer light news 2074. Hit the likes. It's not that. This is reputable journalists saying, having spoke with club sources who want to remain anonymous, this is what they're saying. It's not bullshit. Because it's there, man. Yeah. They probably look. They can do a job in that first game against Everton. I'm not rewriting history now. I said that. I'm not concerned about Everton, but over the course of a season, do them 4 wingers give you enough? Is there a match winner in them 4? Be honest. Is there a match winner that you can depend on? Looks to me like the club are baiting agents to get in touch. Listen, I'm cool about it as well. Please know this. I'm frustrated and annoyed. If in a week's time, we're still in this same situation, then of course my head will be hot. But right now it is what it is. Bus FA, mate. Bus FA. That's a good point, Ryan. That's a good point. Yeah, well, Solomon, I said I want better. I'd take him now. I'm not saying he's a bad player, by the way. I took him anyway, but I guess my point was, having seen us linked to Paixao, it has raised expectations. Of course it is. I don't ever believe this. I don't know what a smoke screen is when it comes to transfers. Sorry, mate. It's a fallout from him, innit? Let's see what can I put on. Right, we'll put James on. But are we though? Because I hope you're right. Look, they've said this target's there, but whether or not we can get them depends. 60 million we're in. It's not a lot, is it? Now, listen, I'm not saying you spend loads, it means you get a great player. I'm not doing that. And I'm actually very happy with the business so far. And I think the fact that we've brought in 7 first teamers, 7 new players for 60 odd million is great business. It's amazing business. But there should be a lot in the coffers. Because don't forget, last summer, we sold the most players in Europe. Don't forget, last January and the January before, we spent nothing. So there's money there. There is definitely money there. I know we fetched in 7, but of last year's squad, we have lost Firpo. We've replaced him. Bamford, we haven't replaced. Solomon, we haven't replaced. Smith is not gone yet. I think we will replace. Rothwell, we've replaced. A bit concerning, Joe. The wingers are inconsistent, and Harrison is simply not good enough. We dance this dance, and he clearly doesn't want to be here. I do think he wants. I think he's shown in training and that, according to what you read. Listen, at the end of the day, these players, they're not asked where they play. They're picking up a wage. That's all that matters. Honestly, it's not like it was. The line, it's going along the bottom. Listen, it might not be anything. Hopefully, they do bits, but The Moonies to Newcastle doesn't make sense to me. Imagine the. Yeah, but I mean they're running out of options, Ryan. They are running out of options. Are you confident with the 4 wingers we have going into the Premier League season? 72%, 73% of you say no. And I would also be no. Not even just because I say they're bad players, but history tells me that the manager doesn't really fancy them all anyway. So, like that, how does Ramazani? I don't think Ramazani has said he don't want to be here. I don't know when that is. Trossard, Leandro Trossard's available, 100%. Dortmund, though, this is the thing. And if he was on a list, he's on big wages, so. Definitely, bro. Joe, why is it okay for Newcastle to run out of options but not Leeds? That's you. So my point is, when I say so, Ryan's point was they're going to go get Fulham's second striker, so that doesn't look great from an optics point of view. My point was they're running out of options that are better. Okay, so they couldn't get João Pedro, they couldn't get Ekitike, they can't get Sesko, so they're going down a list. Leeds United have gone Paixao. Now we're okay with what we've got. So that's what I'm saying. Leeds United haven't, and guess what? There is a dearth of 9s across world football. There is not a dearth of wingers. They're fucking everywhere. Everywhere. They're everywhere. No worries, bro. No worries. I mean, I'll take that. Imagine they're saying this about wingers to bring Sesko in would be nice. I think they've done the essential work that couldn't wait. Now they're doing the classic wait for dominoes. Maybe, mate. Maybe. Sounds a bit like Copium, Mr. Dodo. Each to their own, though. Mates just text me, big up Danny, the coach. My gaffer. Tell you what will calm people. Show Burnley's squad number announcement on Twitter yesterday and also Everton's starting lineup last night. I showed the Everton starting lineup when they got whipped up 3-0. I know they lost last night. I saw that. Saw tweets like valiant effort, improvements. It's not looking good for Everton. Sorry, I'm lagging a bit. I'll have to delete some things. Yeah, Everton, not great, are they? I think was it 2-1? They can't go for a play like, yeah, this is the point. This is my point, Lee. And go, oh, well, there's no one else better than what we've got. I'm not sure. I agree with it, you know? Yeah, Travers in goal, O'Brien, Michael Keane, Mikalenko again in the back 3. But I don't know what's happening with Branthwaite. I think Tarkowski was on the bench. I don't know where Branthwaite's at. They couldn't even fill the full bench. Dwight McNeil, Patterson as wing-backs. Idrissa Gana Gueye and Dai Armstrong, Beto. Did that Thierry Barry came on. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? But I've seen Fulcrook scored. Nice goal as well. There you go, 100%. He is. Ryan says, I've got a couple of spares in the cop for Saturday. Could you read this out in case anyone needs it? There you go. If anyone needs it, reach out to Ryan Standel on Twitter. Ryan Standel. Branthwaite and Taki both injured. Cubbyfoot had hamstring surgery. Let's hope so. Could definitely see Buendia coming in. Remember when we were going hard this window, every penny, but only once we have waited long enough to try and run the price down, then lose out. This is what I'm saying. I don't know what's going on with Oscar Bob, because obviously he would have like played for City last season, but then broke his leg, didn't he? So I don't know where he is in his recovery with that, mate, to be honest. So I couldn't even tell you. Yeah, Chelsea signing another player, Gerald Hatter from Ajax. What else have we got? Let's see what else there is in doing the rounds, but it's going to be a quiet it's going to be a quiet weekend as per for Leeds, I think. In terms of news, just looking, got the James Justin stuff, Isaac Schmidt, Ricardo Sotelli, which is absolutely being rubbish, shows Mika Gotts. There was one 15 hours ago on Cali Mwendo. Of course, I take Cali Mwendo, but I don't think that's on for us. Team Talk has provided an update on the transfer situation involving Cali Mwendo and Leeds United. Leeds are aiming to avoid relegation. They view Cali Mwendo as a key target to spearhead their attack. Constant interest in the French forward, although Tottenham and Forest have engaged in discussions. I honestly think Team Talk's one of the worst, man, if I'm honest. But yeah, Sancho's not going to happen. Bring Jadon Anthony home. Nah, mate, he's broke. He's broke. Like, genuinely, these players are not the players they once were. It's just frustrating, isn't it? But we'll wait and see. But yeah, more will be revealed. You might come on, Jard, mate. Yeah, maybe now that he ain't going Wolfsburg, Leeds are going. Shall we? Just get Buendia and Sargent and get the band back together. I think he plays at Chelsea, bro. I think he plays this season. But yeah, listen, smash me a like on the video. We'll see what happens. Might be a quiet day. It's a week. It's not even a weekend. It's a Thursday. What am I on about? Maybe it won't be, but it's very quiet at the minute. Maybe it's the calm before the storm. Let's fingers crossed and hope it is, because it was last time we had a bit of a meltdown and then boom. But yeah. Oh, I'd love Harvey Barnes, but I don't think he leaves Newcastle. They're short on wingers as it is. Alanga, Jacob Murphy, Gordon, and Harvey Barnes. That's all they've got. So now, Barnes and Gordon will share minutes, won't they? They flip to the other side, but yeah. Anyway, smash me a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Get your comments in. Hit that notification bell. And I will see you soon. Peace, folks. Bye-bye.